Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Not going to waste your time. Our first story today for CSGO News has to do with Zeus, who finally grabbed his first title in a long time, although it's not his major title he wanted while on that Gla1ve lineup, guys. This is the Acer Predator Master Tournament, which happened this past weekend. Gambit Gaming, a heavy favorite here, and to be honest with all of you, not a highly talented tournament here besides Kinguin and maybe Gambit Gaming. There was also Cadian's team Rogue, but Cadian's team really had not performed too well these last few weeks, especially at ESWC. Besides that, though, Gambit Gaming, a heavy favorite, and they dominated throughout this entire tournament and lived up to those standards. They played 10 maps the entire tournament, won 9 of those, went 9-1. The only map they did lose was to Cadian's team Rogue in the quarterfinals there, a close 2-1 series, which went to map number 3. But Gambit Gaming, they swept Fnatic Academy in the first stages. They actually beat Team Rogue 2-1 in the quarterfinals, and then dominated Kinguin the entire tournament. And what I love about this tournament, guys, is first off, in the semifinals, they beat Kinguin 2-0 in still pretty dominating and convincing fashion, and then Kinguin fought their way back. And what I love the most is the grand finals here at this Acer Predator Masters tournament was a best of 5. So teams have to win not 1, not 2, but 3 maps to actually take the grand finals, and it's a really good, it's a really good way to actually say, okay, I'm the more powerful team. If you can actually win 3 of 5 maps, or you have to actually play 5 maps guaranteed, it really shows who the stronger team is. And for sure, when you actually have teams like Kinguin and Gambit Gaming across this whole lineup, you would expect across 5 maps that it would be Gambit or Kinguin to win the tournament. Did not expect this though. Gambit Gaming swept Kinguin previously 2-0, and then in the grand finals again, after Kinguin fought their way back through a difficult road, they swept them 3-0 very convincingly. Gambit, and I really want to talk about this as well. Obviously, top 2 fraggers here will be Zeus and Adren. Zeus and Adren, of the 10 maps they played, in at least 8 of those maps, they were at least one of those 2 were the top fraggers, and they were always side by side. So this team is dominated by both Adren and Zeus. They looked absolutely amazing, which does make sense. But Gambit Gaming did take the home the $25,000 prize. And in very important news, guys, just speculation right now, but is pretty much close to confirmed, and I think highly speculated, is that Virtus.pro will be withdrawing their invite from IEM Oakland. As many of you guys know, this tournament actually happens within 9 days. That's crucial evidence right there, as we had Virtus.pro, both Virtus.pro's Taz and Snax put Facebook posts out a couple days ago. And first one I want to point out on Taz is he said the team has 3 weeks of break. Now he also said 3 weeks of hard work and practice, but it's a 3-week break from tournaments, which really hints at this because IEM Oakland, a $300,000 tournament, a very big tournament on anyone's schedule. If you're actually one of those teams being invited there or to be attending that tournament, it's got a pretty big one until E-League Major, going to be one of the bigger ones we still have. And he said 3-week break. That tournament starts in 9 days. So kind of a hint there. Also, we have Snax posting a picture here as well and saying that he had the biggest tournaments they have upcoming are ECS finals as well as the E-League Major. There's no mention in either Taz or Snax's post of IEM Oakland, and it being a $300,000 tournament, you would think they'd probably mention if that was on their schedule. So as of right now, guys, highly speculated because of traveling issues. Obviously been traveling a lot these past few months, a very tiring team. They also denied their invite to ESL Pro League finals eventually because they didn't want to travel that far as well. And so it's very highly speculated right now that, guys, Virtus.pro will not be attending IEM Oakland. Who would replace them, I'm not sure, but probably going to be a top 10 team as well. Virtus.pro is probably a favorite going into this tournament, so going to be very curious to see who they replace with them. But as of right now, Virtus.pro I do not think is going to attend IEM Oakland. And I also really briefly want to talk about the struggles of Astralis Gla1ve, obviously the newest transfer to Astralis. It's only been ECS matches so far, no big tournaments with Gla1ve, and so really not a perfect judgment of what his character is going to be and what his role is going to be on this team. But as of right now, Astralis is still on the struggle bus. Really throughout ECS so far, they're 2-4. They started off with a rough start against Envious, I believe it was. They got 2-0 swept there. Gla1ve really struggled. I really want to specifically talk about Gla1ve here because throughout those 2 first matches with the team, obviously, you can expect not too much from a player who's newly formed into a roster. Maybe the teamwork's not there yet. Maybe the morale's not built up yet. He averaged 7 kills. He had 7 kills on both those maps. Then came back very strong the next week, or the next day actually, against Mouse Sports, and 2-0 swept Mouse Sports and looked very good. One of their top fraggers in both of those. And then just a couple days ago again, or just yesterday, he looked rough once more. It was actually another 2-0 series in ECS where he really struggled, and again, I think he averaged around 8 frags. So I have been calculating the last 6 matches, only 6 matches so far that Astralis has played with Gla1ve, and his average KD falls at 0.65. He has 72 frags with a total of 111 deaths. He is one of the bottom fraggers, if not the bottom fragger for Astralis as of right now. You really can't expect him to maybe warm up in 6 matches, and it's really going to be really cool to see as well how he performs in big tournament stages. But it seems right now when they play against against these top tier teams or these bigger tier teams, he does struggle to combat with these actual rosters. So the question is now, is it Astralis that's a problem, or is Gla1ve the problem? What's the issue here with Astralis? Because they're certainly not up to form, and if anything, they're faltering even harder than they were before. Another quick shout out to my sponsors, TradeSkinsFast.com, guys. If you want to trade your lower tier skins, I really recommend this site for your lower tier skins, your really crappy skins, the 5 or 6 cent ones, and you want to trade them to a better skin eventually. Use TradeSkinsFast.com. The link is in the top line of the description. Thank you to my sponsor. And my next story is kind of a curious one. One I want to touch on very shortly is with Devil. As many of you guys know, he started a new team last week. He's going to go by the name of Queen Consolidated for the time being, and he took away some Red Instinct members after coaching for this Red Instinct, a French lineup at ESWC. Now, this Red Instinct lineup did not finish too well. They didn't even make out of group stages at ESWC, so they did not play very well. They placed like 24th through 32nd, so pretty much last place in ESWC. So not a lot of probably hope for this lineup, but it does kind of make you curious as to what happened to this Red Instinct lineup after Devil took away two of their better players, Loki and Maiden. Maiden was definitely by far and away their best player. But what happens to these teams when a guy like Devil comes in and just takes players away? Because there's such a big wide array. It reminds me of the North American scene where you have all these lower tier teams, and when you have better players, they're taken away. What happens to the rest of that team? So this actually happened with an announcement yesterday as Fuks, a former Red Instinct member as well, he is now joined with LDLC Hope lineup as well with Matend over there. And so now all of a sudden Red Instinct, 5 days ago this team had 5 whole players. They lost Low-Key Maiden to Queen Consolidated with Devil. Now they've lost Fuks to the new LDLC Hope lineup as well, and now they're left with, I think it's Lambert and another guy named Law, and all of a sudden you think these guys got to be feeling on the bottom of the world, that they're thinking, wow, a minute ago we were playing CSGO with a full 5-man lineup, and now it's just you and me, Law, or you and me, Lambert. It's just kind of really weird to think about this side of CSGO, where this probably happens in the lower tiers every single day, where if you're not good enough, guys, to compete, you lose your team, and all of a sudden you're out of a job, and all of a sudden you're probably thinking, I'm going to go back to school. So just a really weird story for all of you guys that, yeah, all of a sudden the French lineup shuffle is happening with these lower tier teams. I really want to talk about, though, sometime soon in the future, is the French shuffle, which should occur amongst the top tier teams, obviously G2 and Envious there. I think it's going to be happening sooner than you guys do believe. If it's going to happen before the next major, I don't know for sure, but apparently contracts do end between January and February for a lot of those guys, so look out for that. And CSGO news is over. I have some speculation for all of you guys, just some thoughts really quick for all of you about OpTic Gaming now. I guess some CSGO news for all of you is OpTic Gaming has officially moved their full 5-man roster into their CSGO house, as announced by Hector on one of their vlogs, or you can see one of the vlogs there. Now, I'm not sure if they're there permanently right now. We know Mixwell and another member actually stays in the house permanently. I'm not sure if Tark and all those other guys are moving in just for practice or for the time being for the next couple of months, because they're going to be practicing for the offline qualifier happening in about a month's time in December, which is a very big tournament for OpTic. Now, we did see a different OpTic, not up to par, which the OpTic we saw over the summer at ESL Pro League Finals a couple weeks ago, obviously dominated by Cloud9, and really did not perform too well overall. So really going to be excited to see what we see from OpTic in the future, guys. And I really want to take a gander here and take a guess and have this be my journalistic, sense. I guess I have a lacking sense of that. My prediction, guys, by the time the major comes around, OpTic Gaming will hire Liquid Peacemaker as one of their coaches. If not him, I believe they will have a coach by the time the major rolls around. I think that's going to be a crucial part to that team, not having an in-game leader do everything for them. So I do believe OpTic to hire a coach. Will it be Liquid Peacemaker or not? I really think that'd be the most practical guess for you guys. He did leave Liquid a couple weeks ago as well. So I think OpTic will have a coach before the next major, and this should have a big influence, not only adding a coach, but as well as practicing it full time with the team. They're going to be a different OpTic than we've seen these past few weeks. So expect a lot out of them. As always, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode of CSGO News. I think for tomorrow, or maybe the day after that, I'm going to have a My Thoughts Don't Matter on the Mike Laley situation. I truly believe that Pith is not a permanent member. Looking at the overall statistics, guys, you can obviously see NIP. They're going to have a different roster. I really can't deny this. I cannot think away from it. I think whether you really narrow it down, it's going to be one of 2 players for NIP that are going to be gone and transferred. Whether you guys can guess those 2 people or not, they're 2 pretty obvious picks, with Pith being one of them. The other member, pretty much, you could guess who it is, guys. So I do not think NIP is going to have this full roster heading to the next major. I'm going to have My Thoughts Don't Matter about this probably the next few days. So I hope you guys enjoyed that series. I want to continue that with episode 2. So as always, my name is Jake. Remember, I like you. Thank you guys for all enjoying this episode and for the constant support. I have some great giveaways and sponsorships and some stuff coming soon for all of you guys that I'll be announcing this week as well. As always, remember, I like you. My name is Jake. Live, love, laugh a lot. Remember, I like you. Goodbye.